Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to Week 6, Introduction to Business 121, offered by the College of Lake County, utilizing Blackboard Course Management System. You know the routine, so let's go into our weekly assignments. Okay, and right now you're in week 5, so let's talk what happened in week 5. Most of you finished your exams. You're doing pretty good in exam 2. I've got B's and I've got A's. I got a couple of C's. Better do your Learn Smart to do a little bit more Learn Smart interactive homework. There's a review session. Go in there when you go onto their home page and say, how do I review the Learn Smarts that I did already for Dr. George's classes? And I think it's called like Refresh or something else, and they'll show you. It will give you practice questions before you take the exam that are similar to the questions that you had difficulties with. Okay, so you should do pretty good. So we've done that. Most of you, if you've noticed on your forums, you're doing well on the forums. Some weeks are busier than others. Last week you had the exam and the forums and your 2 chapters readings. No different than what you would be expecting at work. You have to find that balance between work, school, family life, and your own social life. So I try to do the balance in here. What I want you to remember that this is a 10-week course, about 9 weeks, similar to what you would be taking this class on in a summer class, only you're taking in the fall. So you had the first, for lack of better words, 16-week class, 10 weeks. For 6 weeks you had kind of off, so now you have to catch up. No different than sometimes you may take an order, to utilize your time more effectively and efficiently. So for a customer says, hey, I want to do this, but you have other orders on there, so you may postpone satisfying that customer's order or performing that customer's order at a later time, but then you have to kind of rush. So that's what I'm trying to do, find that balance, and you'll do fine. So remember, you're doing everything you're doing here in 10 weeks. Some people took 16 weeks. Some individuals will be taking this class in the summer, and they'll be coming in the classroom twice a week, on Monday and Wednesdays for 3.5 hours, where now you're doing this in 10 weeks, but you're doing it online. So again, utilize my concept maps. Look at the publishers. Open up the concept maps first, print them out. So when you're reading, add on to the information you don't need. When you do the Learn Smart, go in there, and again, I didn't understand this. Go in there, do the Learn Smart, and then you take your exam. So you should be pretty good. So when you do the Learn Smart, go in there at the home page, and there's a section there that they'll refresh all the Learn Smarts. You can say, I want to have a refresher in chapters 5, 10, or whatever the exam is on, and they're only going to look at the refreshers of the ones that you had difficulties on. Okay, so we're doing good. Okay, so you're doing pretty good. Now in the forums, if you notice your forums, I kind of come in, you post your forums and you put the areas in the subject areas. Some are very better than others. Some just write, if I talk motivation, just put motivation. Come on, if I'm looking at it, trying to look at your product, you just tell me hot dogs. Okay, what's the difference? Hot dogs. George's hot dogs. Chicago type hot dogs, Polish type hot dogs. So what I want in the subject area, when you're going to be doing in the forums, is just write motivation. You see, I'll go in there and I'll go class, similar to what you'd be doing if you take me to taking me in a face-to-face class. I would be discussing the students would ask me a question, respond to my question. I say, that's a good question. I go, class, what do you think? So when I put those comments in the subject area, in your subject area, I add that on. I expect class to respond back to my comments. 1 or 2. I'm trying to get you 2 things. First of all, that you learn how to ask questions within a network that makes you look credible, that makes you look like you have something to contribute, that makes you look that you give back to your, for lack of better words, you give back to the network. You have some knowledge. You're a resource that you're utilizing. And when you need help, other people will be a resource to you. So that's what I'm trying to do. But what questions you ask? So you go in there, you give me some answers. I try to stimulate. You respond to me, and you respond to the student. Hey, that's a good question. Dr. George wants me to look at this forum or just posting. If and then I'll back away and I want the forum to go. I'm helping you to respond to forums. That's what I do, and it's just like in the classroom to get you more interactive. Remember, we're in week 6. I'm going to be less and less involved, but I'll still read. I'll chime in every now and then, but not to every post. Oh, he didn't chime into mine. Some people have, are hurt, just like in a social network. But somebody already responded. I want you to be the responding, not always have the communication between the instructor and me. I want you to be communicating with other peers, and that's what's going to happen. Because look, you're going to hire a consultant. He or she's going to charge you an amount to help you out. Similar like this class. Look at this class like a big consulting class. Instead of me consulting individually, I consult like the whole course. There's, I think, 15 or 17 people in the class, which is about what I normally would have in a class, because it's a lot of work. But it's the same amount of work you do in a face-to-face class, only you control the time. You had that flexibility. You could do it at nighttime. You could do it in the morning. You could do it in between times. Okay, so are we good? So remember, I come in the forums, I help you write, respond to the forums. Don't get upset if I don't always respond to you. I'm reading them. I want other students to chime in to help. I want, at the end, I'm going to start increasing maybe the forum points to 25, but then I'm looking for 9 posts and up. You're already getting used to it, and that is very easy, because at the end, you're going to start working on your paper. You want that input, that peer evaluation, those focus groups. You'll be looking at your team members as primary data, getting some information. Hey, is that a good name for this? Okay, so that's it. So you're all doing well. You're going forward. That's last week. Let's see what we have in this week. Now you're going to go on week 6. You're going to have a SWOT homework. This homework is, you're going to click in here. I'm going to show you. You're going to click in here, and you're going to submit a homework assignment. You first have, here's what I'm going to do. You're going to click on here, and it's going to open up the file, open up with browse. I think I have this with, open up, oh, this is kind of good. The student open up with Microsoft Word. I don't have it. I think it's an Adobe Reader. Okay, so open up this ABC. Here's what I want. This is just a template. So you're going to say, what does George want? You're going to have to find out the strengths and weaknesses of your business or your product. So this is what you're going to submit to me as a homework. Open this up and you say, oh, this is exactly what I want, and I'll be good at that. Okay? So what I'm going to do, your strength for your business, what's your weakness for your business. Look, if you're doing a finance, I'm not looking at the management strength. I'm looking at your product strength. Because then we're going to be going to the next chapter. This is in marketing. You have to do a SWOT analysis for your marketing. Part of marketing is you got to find out what's the strength of your product and what's the weakness. So, and then you're going to try to look at your competitors. What's your advantage, competitive advantage? You're going to respond to that. What's your primary competitor? It could be Subway, Yamaha hot dog thing. It could be Burger King, that was my competitor. It could be Sonic. And what are the strengths and weaknesses? Now what I want to do is, hopefully my strength that I've identified for my product or my competitive edge will be one of their weaknesses. And then when I go into my promotional mix, this is going to be my advertising campaign. And just try to treat customers outside if you have it. Okay? So this is just a worksheet. You do it. So I'm going to close this. Now I'm going to go back into here. Now here's where you're going to submit your homework. And here's what I'm going to do. Here's what it's going to tell me. Need to identify your strength and weakness, opportunities, and interests. This is going to be a write-up to me in a paragraph form, not into that template form. I want you to say, my strength is, I have the best hot dogs here. I use Vienna hot dogs. I am very close to the market in Chicago. I know what a Chicago hot dog should have and shouldn't have. If I'm open up a business in New York, what is a New York and hot dog supposed to be? If I'm open up down south, what did they expect? Okay, so this is a regular formal paper. You write it in a paragraph. I'm looking for 300 words, not like on that the template. That's just for you to get your rough idea as a worksheet. Boom, boom, boom. Now you're going to write it, because this is going to be part of your feasibility study, a section in the marketing you have to provide for me. So write it as best as you can. Remember, by this time you should have opened up a file that says George's Hot Dog Stand or whatever your business name in, and have already the 7 headers that I'm requiring, and this is going to be one of it. Just add it in. You keep on adding in, and then when it's closer to the homework, which is going to be coming up in about 4 weeks, it's week 6, we only got 10 weeks, you'll be submitting your homework. You have all the pieces. You can make this flow. This is going to be also part of your forum. So I'm trying to not to overwork you, but you do everything else in here. Okay, so you're going to identify your strengths and weaknesses. weakness. You can say my weakness is hot dogs, and you're going to write it in a few sentences. And then what's my opportunities? What's my things? And now now who's going to be your competitors? My main competitors are these three, and here's their strengths, and here's their weaknesses, and my strength. And you're going to write it like you'd be doing it in a paper. Okay, and is there any international opportunities? You could note that's going to help you when you write your formal paper. Now I'm looking for about 300 words. 300 words on the word count. You can submit it as a Microsoft Word document, not as a Google Doc. And I'll have a whole new short YouTube showing you how to submit it. Okay, so you have that. So you're going to click on here. And right now I'm in the teacher's mode. You're going to have that, and you're going to write the submission. You could either, if you have it in a Microsoft Word document with DOC, you could cut and paste it in there. If you got Google Docs, it's not going to work. Okay, or save it as a file. I want you to save it as a file because what I want you to do, this is going to be also a test when you're going to save your formal paper. It's going to be in a Word document, so make sure it works. If you don't have a Word document, the College of Lake County, go into your student portal and look under Microsoft 356 or whatever, and you could download PowerPoint, Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word for a Mac or for your home use that you could utilize. This is a business class. This is what's the requirement. So this way, when you look at the other video, it tells you how to submit it. If it's a Word document, I can make my comments. I could put them right in there and send it back to you. So when you get your grade, you also see where I think you need improvements, where I think it's great, what areas are highlighted. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to browse your computer. Now I'm going to go in this case. I'm going to go find up in here, and I think I've got this one. Let's see, I have something in here, and all you have to do is just find a file. Here's my file in my life, student's homework, a Word document. See, it took it and it tells me here's my homework. Student file. I see the DOC or DOCX, and you're okay. Now in the comments, you could say, "Hope this works." Okay. Dr. Works. Sorry. I don't know why he's giving me a spelling error. George the student. Okay? Capitalize George. Okay? And I submit it, and that's it. Okay? Are we good? So look, submission preview is not saved. And I'm going to say submit. I've got it. I'm going to save it. Okay. I didn't put anything in there. All right. Because remember, I wrote a submission and browsed my computer, and I have my comments, and I'm done, and I'm out of here. That's all you need to do. And later on, when you go into my class, you'll find out. So that takes care of your homework. Let's go back in our weekly assignment. So that's what you need for this week. You got your homework, 15 points. Now, what you've done in your homework, you wrote that. It's going to be 3 words, paragraphs, sentences, grammatically correct. At a college level, you're writing this to your boss. This is going to be part of your your feasibility paper. So already saved that in your Word document. Put it underneath, I think, chapter header 6 or whatever it is for the marketing. Okay, now your form. You're going to click on your form. What am I going to want in your form? Your form is a continuation. Now what I want you to do in this subject area, just write my hot dog stand. This is my strength and this is my weakness. And in the body, let me see if I can make this a little larger. Hang on a second. Remember, I'm live in this. I'm trying to keep this under 20. Can I get it? There we go. Oops, really? Oh, geez, now even I can see without my glasses. Okay, so now in your body, you're going to write one of your strengths in the subject area, so somebody could say a hot dog stand, strength, good hot dogs, whatever. So I could respond. The network could help. It's no different. Get your email. I get a lot of email. I get 75 to 100 emails daily between this class and my online classes and my other work activities. So when I'm looking at my email, I'm picking up what's in the subject area. If you're sending me an email, you leave it blank, it goes into my quarantine, I might not even read it. Make sure manage Business 121 help exam got kicked out. I'll look at it right away versus somebody else. Hey, what's going on? Is this what I need or something else? I prioritize it. Same thing when you're doing your subject in your forum. You want people to respond. You want people when you do your marketing ad, your communication. Help! I need some help. Tell me what to do. Okay. and then identify one of your competitors in the area, all right? And the last thing you do is another form. You're going to tell me what's going to be your pricing strategy, because we're doing chapter 13 this week, which is marketing, right? And you're going to do your strengths and weaknesses right now to identify your product, and then when we go into the advertising and everything else, and you look at your customers and your competitors and your promotional mix, you're going to try to find send that message. Remember, your advertising is your communication media that companies utilize to give a certain message, a certain point of time to get the customers to look at me. And that's what you're going to do in your forms. Okay, so you're going to put in there, my strength is this, and throw in someplace in the write up what your business is, because people may forget. I know, we communicate. You may find another person is going to communicate to your comment, because I'm trying to stay out. I want you to start communicating within this week. And remember, your first post, you won't see anything else until I respond, until you respond to my question. Then you see the whole world. It has to be responded by Tuesday midnight. The forums are usually open by Sunday for those who want to catch up, and you can do your Learn Smart all the time in advance. They're always there, even though I just create the links in here, but you can do them. Some students are already 2 or 3 weeks ahead. Some are already finished with all their Learn Smarts. That gives you more flexibility, more time, reduces your stress. Okay, so that takes care of my forums. Respond to it. They end by, first respond to me by Tuesday midnight or earlier, and then try to communicate to other people if they don't. When you read in their class, what do you think about this? Respond to that post, because I'm asking the class, just like your boss is going, help me. Hey, what do I want? You don't want to be a wallflower. You have to respond. Try to start using the business terms. Try to start using some of the concepts that gives you credibility, gives you that I understand the language of business, not only the dollar amount, but the communication, and I'm utilizing the words. Because remember, in your paper, part of the requirement is that you're going to have 35 new concepts or words within that 14 or 10 page paper, whatever, 2,400 words, about 8 or 10 pages. That you have that to get the full points. So might as well utilize them now. That's why you take any class in business, start picking up the new words. What's like in this way, what's the SWOT analysis? What's going to be my strength, weaknesses? What's a promotional campaign? Those are all business words. What's marketing? What's advertising? What's integrated marketing campaign? Those are things you put in here. That tells me, man, this person understands business, and now you know how to tie those of the vocabulary concepts into providing a product that you'll be doing. So that's my form, all right? It's continuing. I'm not one for busy work. What you've done for the homework, you already created. Now you're going to take part of that and just give me a few parts to get your form, to ask the parts that you want some help with. You may just say, hey, here's my weaknesses. How can I overcome it? Here's my competitors' weaknesses. Do some flavor. You could have some flexibility, but I still want you to respond to mine first and then to other students, okay? And I'll help you along. Okay, so that takes care of that. So let me go back to our weekly assignment. And then again, so what do you have? I've done a little different. I'm doing a marketing. 15 points here for your homework. 20 points for your form. Going forward, when we start going into the finance and everything, oh yeah, part of your forms also, and I forgot. The last thing in your forms is here, make sure you have one pair, and lastly, Tread, what's your pricing strategy? Are you going to have a cost added? Yes, chapter 15. What is going to be my average price for my goods? Because you're going to do in the next chapters, you're going to start doing the personal finance and the accounting. What's an average cost of it? If I walk into your store, if I walk into buying your product, when I walk out, what's my average cost? I asked one lady working at Burger King, and I said, you were out there in the register. If I had to come up to you and say, what's an average customer spends in here? Some are going to buy one pop, some just maybe some Burger King, Whopper, or some may buy the value meal. But she says an average cost, people coming in here will be maybe, she says, will spend $8 to $9. That's an average cost. How many customers? She says, I only work in the lunch hour. I figure in the lunch hour I may have 100 customers. That's what I want you to come up here. Here's how many customers I'm going to serve in a day, and here's what I think my average cost, and here's what my pricing. Remember, you need that for your paper. Start thinking of that now. And that's something you're going to have to think. You open up a business. And you may not say, I'm not going to be a business owner, but you're going to be a product manager. You're going to be working for a company. You're going to be moving up in the corporate world, in a corporation, or your business is expanding. How am I going to price my product? How am I going to price my service or my goods? Okay? So that's the other part. And you could do another thread on that. Just right and say, here's my pricing strategy. So this way, remember, I don't want full pages in the forums. 1 or 2 paragraphs, start another thread. Keep it going. That's how you get the people going. If you're in there and say, hey, I got a question, you go, oh my goodness, we're just like quiet. That's how you get the post, easy post. But now I'm expecting more than one-liners. I expect at least a paragraph for each reply with substance and quality. When I start raising the points for the forums, I want you, because now you already know how to do the forums. Now I'm going to make them worth a little bit more value for you. Okay. But that's how you're going to learn. It's going to improve your business communication and also how you talk to customers or clients or your supervisor or other peers within this forum. Okay, so let's go back. Week 6. Okay, so we've got the forums looking pretty good. You've got your Learn Smarts, no problem, get them done. You've got my lectures. Remember, my lectures are about an hour. I would look at them. Some people just like listening to them, but it has the full mind maps. You open up my mind maps, and then you look at my lectures, and even though I may not talk on them long, I open up, stop them. What is he saying? Stop them. Like you'd be taking those, stopping, and now that's you learn. Why don't you just give us the full one? Because the more senses you utilize, the higher probability you remember. There's a foundation class. You can take a marketing class. Now you know how marketing fits. What else do I know? The pricing. I know how my finance. I know the HR. Who do I hire? Who's going to be my campaign? All this is what you're going to learn out of here. There's a lot. You're going to have a good, solid foundation. Whether you've taken me in a face-to-face class or in a online class like this, you will know. This is very interactive. All right, I think I'm done with that. So you've got the pricing, you've got the student's PowerPoint, you've got the links. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and this weekly assignment we're going to be doing week 6. You finish up week 5, so week 6. Look at this; will be all good. I hope you like the short videos. I send you to your College Lake County email out there, so you could do it whether you have an iPhone or you have a regular MP3 player. You can listen to me and you can see what you need. Hopefully I'm under 20 minutes, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay.